that you should be able to focus your mind where you want, when you want, and for however long.
Right now, right? How many times have our listeners, whoever you are, how many times have you checked your phone while listening to this podcast? Right? We somehow can't seem to live without these things.
This is very important for us to keep in mind about our mind, is that our mind is our friend. Like, it's not just some annoying thing that we have to put up with.
Is you eat right, you feed your mind a diet of good thoughts, and you do exercises.
Many blessings. Welcome back to Spiritual Sense. Today we're talking about the ancient art of mind control. How do you master your mind? How do you get a grip of your thoughts? And what's the benefit of doing this? These are some very important secrets, because our mind affects everything else in our life. And we live in a very distracted world where there's so many devices and different things grabbing our attention. So it becomes harder to do than it would have been in the past. So you're going to learn exactly how to master your mind and how to minimize the distractions in your life, so you can get all the benefits of mind control. So welcome. Hello, Shireen. Looks like you're a bit chilly. You're a bit cold over there.
It's cold.
It's cold. Might never matter.
Cold.
Cold, yeah. So mind control. Why is having control over our mind important? What is the benefit of having mind control?
I was thinking that there are 4 benefits, like 4 major areas. Like, there's the physical benefit, there is emotional benefit, there is spiritual benefit, and then there's overall mastery. All of those benefits. Like, for example, the physical benefit, right? The physical benefit would be like, you're not as exhausted, right? If you're going through a lot of exhaustion in your life, I feel stilling the mind actually helps the body not be so exhausted.
Right.
And also, your posture and everything, right? You feel physically, you feel well. And then emotionally, there's not these emotional ups and downs and mood swings and all of these things. Like, emotionally, you feel very stable. And spiritually, I think, which is the maximum benefits, is you totally have mastery over your thoughts. You can just focus and really be a master of the self, a self-sovereign. And that's the overall mastery too, like total sovereignty over everything. Like, where you can focus, where you want, when you want, and be completely still and quiet.
Yeah, that's such a great quote from spiritual teachings, that you should be able to focus your mind where you want, like whatever focus you want, when you want, at any time, and for however long you want, right? That's the definition of mastery. We can focus on what we want, when we want, for as long as we want. And if we can't do it, let's just think about the other side. If we can't control our thoughts, then the problem with that is that we are going to be having all this random stuff in our head, which is stressing us out. It means we can't manifest things in our life that we want, because you can only achieve what you want in your life if you can focus on something. If you can't focus on it, you can't have it. And also, it's just annoying, if nothing else, just having random thoughts all over the place. It's not a pleasurable way to live, is it? Having going on.
I know, right? It is not a good way to live. One of the things I was thinking is there are a few more spiritual benefits. If you feel like you're having a lot of things going on in your life and things are not really working out, right? Like, there are lots of challenges, And I feel that this focus, this concentration, this mind control really helps you overcome these challenges. They don't feel like challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we are going through a lot of challenges, that really the only thing I feel we would need to do is really learn to focus, concentrate, spiritual focus. That's one. Another one is recently, I heard this in one of our teachings where you will naturally feel a sense of belonging to God. And I really like that. And I've been thinking about that, right? Why does focus and mind control and concentration help me feel this very natural sense of belonging to God?
Yeah, well, why is that?
I feel the mind is not stumbling. It's not looking for here, the next app, the next YouTube short, the next something, doom scrolling. You're not doing all of those things. And so, like, you have more space to belong.
Mm-hmm.
You have more space to be you, and you have more space to really feel that sense of belonging.
Yeah, not being pulled elsewhere all the time. The mind, it really can be, like Milton said, it can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. The mind is
Absolutely.
so mind control.
Absolutely.
And also there's a nice quote I like, that when you're in the silence of the mind, when the mind is silent, whatever thoughts you hold in your mind in the silence tend to manifest. So whatever we want to create in our life, it is much more likely to happen in the silence than all this chaos. And so mind control is also just slowing down and having more space, isn't it? More silence, more freedom. Yay. So we could go on for hours and hours about the benefits of the mind, of course. So what are the things? So we were talking today a little bit about, one is technology and avoiding certain things that make it hard, which we can get into a little bit later. What are the things we can...
we should talk about how to do this, right?
Yeah, how do we do it first? Yeah, what do you actually need to do to calm down the mind?
I feel that you have to, even if it's for 10, 20 minutes a day, you have to keep your mind in a laboratory. And so it's almost like it's like a workshop, like an artist or a chemist. Like, let's say you're an artist, you're painting, you don't want anything, you're just here, you're creating. That's the way you have to treat your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are this artist and your mind is this creation. And let's say 20 minutes a day, I would say 20 minutes a day, you keep it, and after you do that, right, like you have to take out 20 minutes without any distractions. And after you to take out 20 minutes without any distractions, that is, switch off your phone. I mean, like, let's do this right now, right? How many times have our listeners, whoever you are, how many times have you checked your phone while listening to this podcast? Right? We somehow can't seem to live without these things, and they are controlling us, totally controlling us.
Yeah.
And
it's a huge problem.
It is a very big problem, and they shouldn't be controlling you. It should be a matter of pride that they shouldn't be controlling me. And so where were we? So 20 minutes, take 20 minutes, right? Take 20 minutes, switch off your phone, 20 minutes, nothing's going to happen. If you feel so painfully, I cannot live without the phone for 20 minutes, whoever is important you feel you're going to get a call from, just text them and tell them for 20 minutes you're not available. I'm sure people will understand that.
They'll probably get a bunch of messages saying, why aren't you available, Phil? What are you doing? And then you're,
Right. So 20 minutes, not available. And then you know that no one's going to call you, no one's going to whatever. Put it on airplane mode, do not disturb, whatever it is you want to do, 20 minutes. And then you keep your mind in a workshop. And you have to feed it. After that, right, then you have to feed your mind. I would start with a couple of thoughts. And go between these two thoughts. For example, I'm a soul, right? Or and my essence is peace. I'm a soul, I'm light, I am peace. Right? So you can go between these two thoughts. First thought, I'm light. Second thought, I'm peace. My essence is peace. Again, I'm a soul, I am peace. I'm light, I am peace. And you feel that. You feel the light. You feel yourself as a luminous being. You feel that you're peaceful. Even if you're not feeling initially peaceful, just by repeating this and by just being like thinking about peace, right? Thinking about peace. Okay, there's not a lot of conflict now. There's, that is my essence. This is who I am. Then you'll start feeling peaceful. Just by detaching from the body, you feel peaceful actually. And so you go between these two thoughts. And you keep going. That's just for 20 minutes. You do that every day, and you will see how much of a difference it makes in your life.
Yeah, simple things. The key thing is to do it again and again, long enough, and just to give yourself a chance. Because when I started meditating, I remember when I was 18, and it's funny how, when I look back, no one really told me how to meditate. It's all been I didn't get any drills, because what we're teaching you here is think this and then think this, and do it for this amount of time, and it's very specific. But a lot of the time, people kind of get somewhat abstract instructions. So I remember sitting there, going what am I supposed to be doing with my mind exactly here? And so when you just sit down in silence, even for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you start to see what's going on in your mind, which is very interesting, actually. And another practice you might even want to do alongside this, we can get into this in more detail, is just to get a piece of paper or something and just notice what you're thinking, right? Because, what is it? What's going on in the mind? It's very interesting to see what is actually happening there. Am I thinking about this thing or worried about this thing? What is it exactly that's going on? Because it's very useful to know what it is, because some of these things are random. Some of them are problems that have been kind of suppressed and they keep coming up again and again and again because they need to be dealt with. So, but what's been your experience with that, Shireen, just witnessing your thoughts?
It's been wonderful, actually. I'm glad you brought it up, because that is such a beautiful exercise to do, to just witness your thoughts. If you're going to witness your thoughts, you need 30 minutes, though. You need 10 minutes of witnessing your thoughts, and then 20 minutes of doing something with your thoughts. But witnessing your thoughts, right? What happens is, I was recently telling someone, okay, witness your thoughts, write them down. And she said, my thoughts are so fast, I can't write that fast.
Oh, my God.
So I said, how about recording? Just take your phone, put it on airplane mode before you take your phone, put it on airplane mode, and start recording what you're thinking. Don't analyze it, right? Be very neutral. Whatever the thought is, just say the thought. Say it aloud. Just say it aloud, and sometimes maybe it's faster than even you saying it, but whatever it is, say as much as you can. Say it aloud and just record it and be very neutral. Just be very neutral. Don't say it's bad, it's good, nothing. Be very neutral and just watch. That is, I really think it's a very good first step. Mind control is to really watch your thoughts. Observe your thoughts.
Just see what they are. It's very interesting, actually. And what I personally have found is that a lot of the time, the reason that they're there isn't because there's a problem, it's because the mind is trying to help. Like my attitude nowadays is my mind is my friend, and it's trying to help me out. So if I'm sitting down, and I mean, all the time I get ideas. What about this? What about this? And so what I've often find is when I go on a walk or something, I don't always do this because I don't always want to do it, but I often bring like a piece of paper and a pen, because I know that my mind's going to give me ideas about things, or it's going to tell me stuff that I've forgotten to do. And if I write it all down, then I can put it on a to-do list and I can actually implement it, and then it's taken care of, right? So the mind is actually trying to help us. This is very important for us to keep in mind about our mind, is that our mind is our friend. Like, it's not just some annoying thing that we have to put up with. So some spiritual teachers, they say stuff like, oh, the mind is just this annoying thing and that's just how... No, it's not just an annoying thing. It's actually a very, very useful thing. It's a tool, and the purpose of the mind is to help us be able to visualize things that don't exist yet so we can create them. It's a very good visualization tool, so it's meant to do that. It can also remind us of things. It can also create experiences and make us feel good. So there's like loads and loads of benefits. The mind is like this wonderful, wonderful tool. It's like having an incredible computer that has all these applications on it and all this potential. And all we do is use some random, terrible, broken program, and that's all we use it for. But there's all this other stuff. So when you sit back and watch your thoughts, you realize that a lot of them, some of them are totally random and unhelpful, but even that's useful to know that they're going on, so you can do something about it. Some of them are useful. And so just sit down, speak it out loud or write it down. Also keep in mind that the mind isn't just words, it's also images, it's also sensations. The mind has the 5 senses inside of it. So your mind can see things, hear things, smell, taste and touch things. The mind has all the senses that we have internally. So if you're speaking out loud, you might be describing images and stuff that you're seeing. It's not just words. And then once you have done that, then you have a better idea about what's going on. And you can even do a brain drain, which is something I recommend to many people, is just sit there and all the things that are worrying you and stressing you out, just write all of them down. Because what often happens is you get this stuff that's stuck in the back of your head out onto paper. And then once you can see it, you can decide, am I going to do something about this? Can I do something about it? Or am I going to consciously scratch it off and say, I'm going to let it go because there's nothing I can do, right? But if we don't get it out of our head, it's just clanging around. It's just like sirens going off all the time. So a lot of our thoughts is stuff that's supposed to come out of the mind onto the page and then be implemented in our life or released. And if we do that before we try and control our thoughts, we'll have a lot more success, because there's not this background stuff trying to be dealt with that we're ignoring.
You know, one of the most important things about the mind is it gives you it's a messenger.
Yeah.
It's giving you messages of what's happening inside you, right? It's just telling you this is what's going on. And I totally agree with you that we need to first observe what's happening. But at some point you have to start making it work.
Right.
You have to give it exercises. And you know what they say in fitness, right? Eat right and lift heavy. So that's what my
No
trainer
pain,
says.
no gain is not as popular anymore.
No, eat right and lift heavy.
It's been changed.
Eat right and lift heavy.
Yeah.
And so both of them, actually, you can use it for spiritual too, the mind too. Is you eat right, you feed your mind a diet of good thoughts, and you do exercises. You just keep doing exercises. Keep putting it through the paces, because it's going to wander, right? But you keep putting it through the paces, then it will go where you want it to go. And if you don't believe me, right, just do it for 20 minutes for the next 1 week. 20 minutes next 1 week, do these things. Take 2 thoughts and keep going between the thoughts. Don't think, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. No, just for now, these are the 2 thoughts I'm going to go in between. Because then you're taking the right thoughts, you're taking 2 powerful thoughts. So that's you're feeding your mind a diet of good thoughts, and then you're exercising it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. It's a great method. One that I really enjoyed recently was 2 thoughts. One thought is, I am an elevated soul. And then the other one is, I am a resident of the supreme abode, the land of silence, the spiritual world, right? So I'm a spiritual being, and I'm come from this light beyond everything. I'm a spiritual being. I practiced that for about 3 hours, 4 hours the other day. It was so powerful, just again and again and again and again and again. Because what I've noticed is that when you first do something, I'll speak for myself anyway, when I first do it, it's just sort of theoretical a little bit, right? It's just information. But then after a while, it starts becoming experiential. And then it becomes very powerful. It becomes like a very deep, profound change in consciousness. It's very pleasurable, actually. But it takes quite a few rounds to get there. And I think what a lot of the time people give up way, way, way too quickly. They sit down and go, oh, it's just not working. Okay, let me check my phone real quick. So,
no, that is it, right, Michael? Our biggest enemy these days is our phone, is social media phone. Biggest enemy.
Yeah.
And we don't even know.
Well, I think some people are aware of this nowadays. But it's hard to deal with it. I mean, more people are aware.
It's like an addiction.
It is an addiction.
Like, let's say it's total addiction. Like I said, no. How many times have you checked your phone?
Well, luckily I haven't got my phone here, so and I'm talking to you. So
no, I'm talking to our listeners, right? How many times have you checked the phone while listening to this podcast? I know, it happens all the time. Yeah. Right. So what, you can't do something without, like, for 10 minutes without doing, so that is an addiction. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to make people feel bad about it. I'm just here to tell people that is not okay. When did we become such addicted people? Let's say if you had a really bad drug problem or alcohol problem or any other addiction,
yeah,
you would be concerned. You would be trying to get out of it.
Every 10 minutes you have to have
don't even know.
another glass of whiskey every 10 minutes. You'd be a serious problem, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah, and you hear people don't even know.
It's a major issue. I mean, I've been talking about this. I have courses on this whole thing, and I've been on about this since 2017. I was way aware of this long time ago. In fact, my first cell phone, this is when flip phones existed, I knew that even that was a problem for me. So I threw it in a lake. I felt so relieved. Probably shouldn't have thrown it in the lake. But I was just like, I can't be dealing with this. And I just tossed it in the lake spontaneously. And as soon as it landed in the lake, I was like, oh my God, what a relief. No one can contact me. I can't get involved in any of this stuff. What a blessing. It's just like profound relief. But then, everyone's like, yeah, but I can't get hold of you, blah, 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 blah. So I had to get another one. But no, and it's got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
No, throwing in a lake is not useful, really, because
I really enjoyed it.
Unlike you, Michael, I live in a community.
That's right.
I don't live by myself in the desert somewhere.
In the mountains.
Yeah, yeah. That's not going to work. Right. I have to be. I care about people. I need them to be in touch with my parents and, everyone around me. I need people to,
no, so do I. I mean, I pray to talk to tons of people.
Maybe you don't. So that is not what we are suggesting. Don't throw your phones in the lake. That's not what we are suggesting. Even if we ask you to, you might not. But that's not what we are suggesting anyway. just be aware, like take periods of time away from your phone and put your mind in a laboratory.
Yeah, give yourself some space to have a good look at it. And a nice thing to do that's kind of like an intermediary step here is to go on a walk without your phone, which has been praised apparently in the mainstream media as this brand new idea. This is an amazing new idea. There's this whole new thing. It's called going for a walk without your phone. And they're like, oh, it's so
Yeah, without listening to
listening to a
something, without
podcast,
whatever.
without listening to music. It's like so amazing. So they've just discovered it's a scientific discovery. So if you just go out for a walk without your phone, then you can, I'm sure most people listening to this probably do this anyway, just notice your thoughts. I often do like one step, like I have one thought with one step, another thought with another step. I was doing that yesterday, went on a lovely hike in the mountains, in the canyons. Just focus on one thing again and again and again and again and again and again. And it becomes like doubly enjoyable because you're walking, you're seeing nice things, and you're getting spiritual power at the same time. We could, of course, go deeper into this, but in essence, mind control is focusing on one or two things over and over and over and over again until the thoughts...
Until the mind becomes very still.
Yeah, it becomes an experience.
So when was the last time you went on YouTube? Okay, don't answer that question.
Me?
You don't mean to? Yes.
Me? Yeah, today I was on YouTube.
Okay. So you know how it feels, right? Randomly looking at random things and maybe this suggestion, that suggestion. You know how
They're
that
very
feels.
good at recommending stuff we're going to click on, aren't they?
Right. So you know how that feels, and many times you don't really feel. I'm like, why did I waste this much time?
Was this really the best use of
Seriously.
my time? Yeah.
The best use of my time. You don't feel very good, and you're like, you're done. That's great. So now you know how that feels. Do you want to know how really making your mind very still feels? Really being able to control your mind and being very quiet. If you want to know how that feels, try this method. You might think it's simple, but it's a very profound method that both Michael and myself have really tried it and tried it and tried it, and it works. Where you put your mind in a workshop, you take away distractions for 20 minutes or so, and you give your mind a diet of 2 very elevated thoughts. And you keep going between those 2. Or it can be 3 or 4, how many ever you want, but you keep going between these thoughts.
Yeah, just do it again and again and again. Same thoughts. I'm a spiritual being. I come from the light, or infinite peace, infinite love. We should have a list of these thoughts, Shireen, actually, so people who want to know what to think, don't have to think about it too much. I actually do have a book called Divine Affirmation Mantras, which is all about this sort of thing, which I could put a link to. It's in our Spiritual Travelers website, which is all free. So, but yeah, come up with 2 thoughts and try and do it again and again and again and again and again. What I personally notice is that once the phone is removed, because I actually have, as if you've watched this a lot, I have a box and I put everything in the box and I literally can't go online at all, whether I like it or not. So that just takes care of any kind of possible distractions. And then I can just, once that's happened, I can actually focus for quite a long period of time. You know, I'm pretty good at concentration once I don't have the distractions. So it's very useful to just put them away and think, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, for some of us that's not a reasonable ask, but yes,
for 20 minutes,
that's another
most
option.
people can Putting away.
No, 20 minutes. I'm talking about putting your whole Wi-Fi in a box.
I'm hardcore. What can you do?
I mean, I live in a meditation center. I mean, people are here doing other things. I can't just, because I don't have self-control. I can't put it in a box.
Yeah, well, everyone has to figure it out for themselves, don't they? That's the art of living. It's each to their own, isn't it? But one way or the other, we can turn it off for 20 minutes or an hour, can't we? If we really want to.
Absolutely, we can do that, right? We can do that.
And then just the same thing again and again and again and again. And mala beads, and everyone knows mala beads. That can be a very good mind control. I personally think it's one of the most remarkable pieces of technology ever invented, actually, because you hold the bead, one powerful thought, then the next one, then the next one. Then by the time you go around 108 beads, it's just fantastic. So.
Yeah, I like mala beads too.
Yeah.
You know how I started? The art of concentrating my mind, this was many years ago, about 20 years ago, is I took 4 questions. And I started repeating. I asked myself the question and I answered the question. The first question was, who am I? And then I would answer, I'm a spiritual being, I am light. The second question is, what are my original qualities? I would pick one, like peace or love, and I'd say, I am peace, I'm a peaceful soul, I don't have any conflict, I don't have any desires, I'm just being very quiet and still right now. That was 2. I would ask the question, then answer the question. And 3 was, who do I belong to? I belong to God, the divine source. And the last one is, where do I come from the home of light. And so these were the 4 questions, right? So I would ask the question, answer the question. So let's say after the second question, if I had a thought which was not related to the question, then I would cancel it out and go back to the first question. And I would make sure that I answered all 4 questions without any external thoughts. And if I answered all the questions without external thoughts, then I would say, okay, that is 1 round. And I would do 8 rounds like that. So every time I sat, I would say, okay, I'm going to do 4 rounds. I have only 5 minutes, I'm going to do 4 rounds. And it has to be without external thoughts. And that's how I trained my mind to concentrate and not to wander off.
That's great. So each one was 1 bead.
Yeah, each one was 1 bead.
Yeah, it makes a huge
Who am
difference. Yeah.
What are my original qualities? Who do I belong to? And where do I come from?
Very powerful.
And keep doing that. I keep doing that. Oh, I loved it. I still do it actually, but that's how I started.
Yeah.
And I really like it. It's somehow, because I trained myself on that, now I can go back to it much easier, and anything happens, right? I'm upset with someone, something is going on, I just go back to that. So that the mind becomes very quiet, it becomes very still. And what I've noticed is I'm able to serve better. And I feel that is the mastery, is you're able to serve better from that space.
Yeah, because the mind is the first creation. The mind is the first creation. Another powerful method, which I find extremely useful, and I do it quite a lot, is go into the light, spiritual light. We talk a lot about this. We are spiritual home, and then come back here. It's a practice of coming and going. So you can use the mala bead. Go beyond, and come back. And I was practicing this the other day. Go beyond, like that's where I come from, and that's safe and secure, and I've attained everything I want there. Everything's fine. And then I've come down here for fun and games. because that's actually the deeper truth, is that we're all right anyway.
That's beautiful, Michael.
Yeah.
Actually, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
I'm okay in my home. Everything's great. That's truth. And then I come down, and this is all just fun and games. And then I go back again. So it's like reconnecting with that's one of the most powerful practices I've ever come across, and I find it very refreshing, because then I start to feel like what previously was a bit of a pain in the arse is now fun and games. Like, oh, this is all right. Like yesterday, I was doing this yesterday, and beyond. Okay, I've got to do taxes, and I've got to take care of admin stuff, and I'm like, it's fun and games. It's fun and games. I've just come down here to deal with random bank statements and whatever else. So
right. That's wonderful. Yeah,
so
that's great.
It's a good practice.
And I also like the other one you shared about I'm an elevated soul and I come from home.
Yeah.
That's a really good
Actually,
one too.
you have a list of these drills, don't you? You just came up with them.
I have so many
Yes,
drills.
so many drills. We should make them available and put a link to it under the video on the website, because what's the point in having them if people can't get them? Do you know what I mean? So let's have, we'll as part of this session today, we'll make that available. It won't be that hard for us to do. So you can download something, just a few different options, and then you can get your mala beads or don't get your mala beads or whatever it is. And
you can put your internet in a box or not put your internet in a box. But we can all switch off the phone for 20 minutes.
We can switch off the phone for 20 minutes, and you can throw it in the lake, or you can not throw it in the lake.
Or you don't need to throw your phone in the lake.
It's up to you.
My dear divine brother Michael is a little extreme, and we really love him for that, but we don't need to do that, right, Michael?
No one else has to do that.
No one else has to do that, right?
I threw it in the lake one time, and then the ocean took my phone another time. But I always end up getting another one, so it doesn't solve anything, really.
Thank you for sharing that.
So what can you do? So wonderful. So hopefully this is some food for thought, so to speak. Just take one thing that you can use, and now you know how to master your mind. These are ancient secrets that go back a long, long time, and we're just reviving them for the modern world.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Brother Michael. Because what happens is we are not just saying it because we are just saying it, right? These are things that we have learned and we have put into practice, and they are really ancient secrets.
Yeah. And for those of us who've been around a long time, many lives, we've been doing this stuff for a long time. That's why some of these things, they kind of feel familiar, because we've been having these experiences previously, and we're coming back to it. Blessings. Blessings.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Should we do concentration?
Yes, we should. Might as well find the right blessing for the day.
Concentration. You've learned to focus on only one thought at a time while allowing yourself to be in solitude with your inner work. You stay firm and don't entertain any distractions. This peace of mind fills your heart with the truth.
That's great. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Well, congratulations. So wishing everyone lots of concentration power, magical powers. And as always, if you haven't already, leave us a review on the podcast if you want. We love hearing from you. Get our free courses. Everything's free with the links below. And keep staying happy. Congratulations. Yay. Thank you. Talk to you soon.